Our next question is from offline as well, is from Oscar, and he asks, one second, what is the most complicated creature type to create? Basically, I guess in your opinion, what is the most complicated one that you have regularly encountered or have to do?
Complicated creature. I guess when there's a lot of crazy details and well, things get complicated when the art director doesn't know what he wants, and even because once he knows, okay, it's gonna be a two-legged, it's gonna be a werewolf, then it's kind of easy, right? But if he doesn't know what he wants, then it gets pretty complicated, like trying to figure out the style, or how or what type of animal is it going to be, or is it going to be referred to. It doesn't have to be that exact animal. And I guess if there's machines that's stuck into the animal, that gets a bit complicated because you want to be clear with the design of that. I think once machine comes in there, machines really make things a bit complicated for me anyway.
So you tend to be more of an organic type of concept artist as opposed to one that does hard surfaces.
What was the question?
No, I'm just making a comment, basically. So you tend to do more organic than you do actual hard surface work.
Yeah. Most of the jobs I get, it's mostly fantasy stuff and creatures that are for horror. So there's no machinery plugged into them, except some zombie stuff I did where there's a lot of like crazy machinery stuff that's stuck. But there's ways to simplify those forms. But when you have to finalize it, you have to make sure those forms are integrated well and clear in the design.
Awesome. Our next question is from Fernando Acosta. He asks, great workshop. Thanks for sharing. He says, having worked both in games and films, which industry do you like the most, and do you see yourself staying in games or going back to film?
Well, each one has the pros and cons, but I guess with film, what's nice is you get to work on big movies, and games, it's almost like a stability that, I mean, in films it's pretty stable too if you always go out looking for work. So you have to hustle all the time, sending your stuff out, unless you're very well known already and people come to you. But in games you have this a little more relaxed, I guess. Not relaxed really, more what's the word I'm trying to look for?
Well, maybe relaxed does work.
Yeah, it's a little more relaxed, I guess, because there's no big budget, the money. I mean, it's still a lot of money. Wow, this question is actually the hardest question. I can't. I would like to be in film. I guess that would be the end result that I want to see, is working on movies again, because it just has. I guess I just like movies a lot. And maybe it's more, it has a popularity is not the word, but it has something like that's enticing,
Yeah, I guess it's more of the just either not the mystique, but I guess the just I can't think of the word either now. I had a brain part too. It's more prestigious, I guess.
Prestigious, maybe that's, yeah, you're right. Maybe, I think that's the word we're looking for.
Yeah, so I can respect that. I can relate.
Yeah. Yeah. But not to say that Project Offset was still one of the best, because I controlled a lot of the art direction there, and most of the, I mean, not the environment, of course. Kang did that, but Kang let me. We both had our thing that we needed to do, and I handled all the characters and creatures, and I did the style guide. Um, so making sure each character is distinct to its class, and what kind of making sure that, like, let's say the goblin and the dwarves, they have their technology, and making sure there's very different technology. So I guess working in that environment was really exciting because I got to control and see the final product till the end.
Okay, awesome, Anthony. Our next question is from, I believe Norman Lee actually has a question now. Norman asks, do you ever sculpt or 3D model your creatures? And also, how did you get work doing Magic the Gathering cards? Thanks.
Oh, yeah, the Magic Gathering card work. I was still at NCSoft when that happened. I had a friend that, okay, both of us were going to show our stuff to the guys at Magic during Comic-Con. So I would say Comic-Con is like one of the best places to kind of show your stuff, to get work in these publishing companies. But I guess it's also, I got lucky because we did know somebody there, and he had brought my portfolio in, and I didn't get to show up, but they did like my stuff, and they gave me a test, and well, not test, they just gave me one card to do and to see if it, if I could do that one card. And I guess they liked the work, and then from then on I started getting more Magic card work. But I haven't asked for too much cards to do because it's just I just get like 1 or 2 cards per block per series.
Okay.
So yes, that's how I got into that. Kind of fell in there.
Okay. But do you ever sculpt and 3D model your work or creatures?
No, but I am starting to. I haven't fully incorporated it yet, but I'm trying to learn ZBrush. If you guys check out my blog, there's some ZBrush sketches I have made, but nothing like final yet. I'm still. It's just
What
don't have
about
time.
traditional sculpting?
Yeah, definitely did a lot of traditional sculpting. Never fully finished it to the end though, but just learning to block out forms properly, and and just knowing how the structure sits in space, just helped me out tremendously with making sure I have a solid foundation when I do my structures for my creatures.
Okay, awesome. We have another offline question that I just got. It's from Stuart. What advice do you have to create good texture renderings in your work?
Make sure you get good pictures, and when you drop it in, make sure it's the lighting that is in your illustration. When you do a creature design or a character design, you want to make sure you have where your light source is coming from. And when you get a texture, it's always good to get the texture that has the right light source. And if you can't get that, when you take your own texture, make sure you take it on an overcast day so it doesn't have a strong light source on it, so you could manipulate the light source yourself.
Okay.
Okay.
That
That's
sounds
usually how
good.
many painters do it.
Awesome. And there's still people here, but there's no more questions that I see posted. I guess I'm just watching you draw
Yes.
at this point.
That's just going to show how, I wanted to show how you could use, because the question earlier about color palette, and so
Yes.
I just put this frog there because let's say that's my color palette, and I'll just do a quick creature right now.
Go right ahead. That's perfect. We'll just sit back and watch.
Yeah, so I'd probably detail this some more. You can see that it's part kind of crab. So when I